Hi, and welcome to another episode of Breakthrough with me, your host, Tess Timmons. Are you interested in going to college? No, wait. Maybe you're a parent and you're paying for someone to go to college? Or wait, maybe you're like me and you haven't been to college in a very long time and you want to know what's different, what's changed about it. We know the price has. But anyway, today we are going to talk to Karen Medina. She is going into her third year of school, and we want to hear about college, choosing to go to a school that's far away from your home. There's so much to take away in this story, so let's get started. Karen, how are you doing today?
Hi, I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the show. It's so great to see you. Karen is also, side note, a former student of mine. I love her to death, and I've been so proud to see her growth. Yeah, your story is just incredible, Karen. I think it can inspire a lot of people.
Thanks for having me. My name is Karen. I am a third year at the George Washington University in D.C. And yeah, it's a pleasure to be here with you today.
Awesome. Okay, Karen, you were going to school, high school. You were born and raised in California, in Tahoe. You decided to go off to school in Washington, D.C. That's quite an endeavor. What made you decide to go to college in the first place?
Well, I am a first gen student. I think at first it had a lot to do with my parents and them influencing me into going to college. Then it was like my teachers also influenced me. They like saw the potential that I had. My dad's side of the family, I am the first one to go to college, so I think that also had an effect. My mom's side of the family, they've gone to college, but they also wanted me to go to school. I knew that I didn't want a 9 to 5 job as soon as I left high school. I knew I wanted to go to school. I didn't know where. When I applied for school, I applied to 11 schools. I got accepted into 10, waitlisted at American University in DC. But I had all these pretty options and I still didn't know where I was going. I did ask for advice to a lot of people because I didn't know what I was doing. I remember very clearly Mr. Everest, who was my psych teacher at North Tahoe, and he was like, "We're gonna do a dartboard, and then I'm gonna blindfold you, and we're gonna throw a dart, and that's where you're gonna go to school." We did not do that because Miss Mitchell, our principal, would have gotten us in trouble, and so I decided to flip a coin. I had three options. I discarded a lot of them. And I had George Washington University as an option, and I had Cal Lutheran as a second option, which is a school in Anaheim in California.
Mm-hmm.
So that is my story that I tell. I flipped a coin to be in DC. My first year was not perfect, but I was very excited that I was gonna go to school. Did fight with my parents about school because my I feel like especially in as a Latina, our family is very tight and very bonded, and it is very hard for anyone's parents to like just let them go to school or especially like go far, because my parents did want me to go to school. That was a conversation we did have. My dad broke down when he we I was like doing Pico de Gallo, which is kind of crazy, and he came up to me and he doesn't really show emotions, and that is something that I found out, that his side of the family is not very affectionate. And when he did that, like it kind of shocked me that he like sat down and he talked to me and he was like, "I don't want you or your siblings to have a 9 to 5 job like I do. You know, I work doubles. You know how much we struggled to be where we are today." And he was like, "And I don't want that future for you." And he was like, "I know I can't force any of you guys to go to school or not. It is your option, because at the end of the day, like you're gonna be the one like doing the homeworks, doing this, doing that." And but he basically told me that he really wouldn't want me to go to school and graduate and like make that dream of his, which it kind of broke me because I didn't realize how much of, I guess, an impact I would have in leaving home, because I am the oldest one and my parents do depend on me. My younger siblings do depend on me. But my first year was a very interesting one because I did fight with financial aid because I found out two of my scholarships weren't going through. And I was very scared because I owed $40,000 and I was like, where am I gonna get that type of money? Like, I did not
Yeah.
sign up myself for this, but they fixed that and I was able to pay tuition. My freshman year, I lived with three
Oh, I'm going to
girls.
stop you for that second because I think there's a lot of information in the beginning of your story. I want to get to that next part too of where you're living and the challenges at school. But I think that there's some interesting facts what you were saying as far as like at first my dad wasn't open to me going, and then he started to change his mind. What do you think it was that like changed his mind? And also it's really beautiful that you guys had this connection where he started to show you emotion. He was open to letting you leave. You said as well that it's different for Latina girls to leave the home or to go far away. You're going hours away, right? Like you're going to the other side of the country. Some people are even going just a few hours away, and it's still a challenge sometimes for Latina girls specifically. What do you think that is? Why did your parents
I
not
think
want you to go far or nervous that you go far? What is that?
I think the one person that was more scared of me like going away was my mom. I did argue and fight with her about school. She wanted me to be close because her family is very family oriented. Like in Mexico, it's my grandma's house, my uncle's house, my uncle's house. So it's like they never really left. And I guess I'm very thankful for that, to have like that sense of family community with my mom's side of the family. My dad's side of the family, they all live together, but it's not as like my mom's side of the family in a way. My mom was very scared because I am her oldest daughter, so I completely get that. She was very scared. She did open to me about that. She was very scared because she didn't know who I was living with. She didn't know what the school was. She didn't know like the time difference, like what my schedule was going to be, like how I was going to get there, like how I was going to get to my dorm. So I do understand where she was coming from. She
Hmm.
never had like an opinion about me not going to school. Their first thought was, you're gonna go to school, you're gonna graduate, and then you can do whatever you want with your life, but you are going to college no matter what. Like, we're gonna find a way that you are gonna go to college. And I am very thankful for both of my parents for allowing me to go to DC. I kind of chickened out May 1st when I had to make a decision. I was like, am I really gonna do this? Like, am I really gonna leave my parents? Like, I started second guessing myself. And I talked to my dad about it, and he was like, I don't know how you're gonna do it, but you're going to DC and we're gonna work through everything, but you are gonna go do that. And if you don't like it, you can always come back. So that was always the mindset my parents had, that they wanted to give me the opportunity to go to DC and see what it was all about. And if I didn't like it, come back. And to your second question, I feel like,
Yeah.
especially in Hispanic or Latinos households, it is very, very hard for, like, especially if you're the oldest daughter, for your parents to let you like spread your wings, just because I feel like it is a lot, because they are scared, like, you are the oldest daughter, like what will happen, like they fear that a lot. Especially I feel like my parents did a lot, and I know a lot of my friends didn't go far, they stayed in California, and I was like one of the like ones that decided to go across the country. My friends
Yeah.
still ask me to this day, aren't you scared to go back? Aren't you like, and I say no because I know what I'm doing. Like, I'm very comfortable like living where I am. But I have noticed that there are a lot of like restrictions like a lot of Latina girls have, and it's not just like, it's not in just families. I think it's in generations, and I think it has a lot to do with our culture, or like with society still.
Yeah, like I would say my mom is Catholic. She wanted me to go off to school. Her family has also already experienced college. Her and her siblings had gone to school. I didn't go far. I went in state. But I would say like with I don't know if it's the way she was raised or they're Catholic or, but sometimes they lead with fear first. But maybe it's a mother thing, right? They get nervous. So sometimes it's like, oh, what will happen, instead of that other side of that flipped coin, as far as like, oh, like how incredible could this be that you lead our family, right? Or it could also be like, hey, if you leave, then our next kid might leave too. And what if we don't see you often? What if you don't call often, right? I guess I totally relate to that because I don't live in the same state as my family. And I would say that even, I think I'm going on 13 years of not living in my home state, but every year I go home, people ask me still to this day, when will you come back? And unfortunately I really like California, so I'm staying here. But yeah, and I think it's not really that they don't want us to succeed. They just love us and they want us near them, right? I think that that's kind of a turning point of, okay, how can we have this conversation, but I'm still allowed, you're a young adult, you can still make up your own mind, right, to go.
Yeah.
So you're choosing to go back for your third year. When
Yes.
you went your first year to this school, tell us the name again of this school. Let's get into like your first year. Did you feel, since high school, you did experience like COVID in high school as well, did you feel prepared to go off to college? And what were some challenges and what were some great things that happened your freshman year? Because that's a huge, huge experience.
Yes. So I'm at the George Washington University in DC. It's like, I want to say like maybe 10 minutes from the White House. My freshman year, I was very, very excited. I didn't really get homesick because everyone does ask, do you get homesick? I was not. I think I was ready to leave Tahoe in the sense that I don't know. I feel like it's always the same routine like you do every day, but I was ready for like something new, something exciting. I left early August. I do remember that. I was a part of the Founding Scholars program that they do have for first gen students. So I was there a week early. They showed us the campus, they showed us like the metro, like different things you could do in DC. Then everyone got there. So I was the first one in my dorm to get there. Um, I did not
Hey, did
know
you
where my room was. I did not know because I got there a little later because my flight got delayed, then it got canceled, then it got rescheduled. And so it was a situation with my flight, but the lady was like I there's no other flights. And I was like, "No, you don't understand. Like I have to be in DC by this time at a certain time. Like I have to get my key, like I have to be in." And she was like, I'll figure out a way. She did. I will thank her forever. I got to like Foggy Bottom area to go pick up my key, and I was like, I can walk to my dorm. It'll be fine. No, you can't walk to that dorm because I lived in like the upper campus, so I had to Uber there. I got there, didn't know anything, didn't know where my room was, and the RAs were very lovely people. They helped me get upstairs, get situated, and they were like, "Also, we're going to buy you food because you're new and you will get lost here." And I was like, "Thank you." So I did have the first week of college was like the first week of orientation was really good. I got to meet a lot of people. My roommates all moved in. I am still very close with two of them. One of them I'm not really close to anymore. We did have a falling out, but I mean, it is college. It is the college experience I guess. And to this day, I'm still gonna room with my two best friends that I roomed with in college my freshman year, Perla and Meg. I'm still rooming with them. We actually got our room like a month ago, I believe. So,
That's really nice. So you're still connected with them and still roommates with them. I think there's such a bond with the people that you originally like experience your freshman year of college with, especially because it's that time when everyone is gone from home. A lot of us don't know what we're doing, but we're exploring that together, right?
yeah.
And RN, like we used to have those as well. So you have a resident that's on the floor who's older, who's helping you with the program that you did where you showed up a week early and they help first gens at school. Did you sign up for that program? Did they contact you? That's really
No.
cool.
So they did when I was filling out because going into college I had email no. Actually, my roommate DM'd me and she was like, "Hey, like my name is Perla. Like, do you still need a roommate?" And I was like, "Yes, because I don't know anyone. I would like to know someone going into the school." So we both did housing together, so we were roommates before anything. So when I got there, they had an option when I was filling out housing. I know it has changed since like I was a freshman, but they did
Okay.
have like an application of for different programs, and the one that really the two that called my attention was Founding Scholars and the Cisneros program, which are both for first gen students.
Oh, okay, cool. So when you were, I guess I have a couple questions. Like, do you think that first gen programs are of value? Did you feel like it was good for you to show up a week early and have people show you around? Would you suggest that to other first generation students? I'm the same as you. My mom's side went to college, my dad's side did not. So, kind of having that experience, do you think it's beneficial?
I think for me personally, I really enjoyed and I learned a lot from like myself and like other people and their experiences because the people who are a part of Founding Scholars, they're all first time students. So I did ask a lot. My mentors were a bunch of juniors and seniors, and I did ask them, I was like, how do you do this? Like, who do I have to contact about this? Like, I was there every single day. Like, I would be in their office and I'd be like, I don't know what I'm doing. Like, I am regretting my decisions. Like, what if this goes bad? But they are like one of my support programs that I was able to go to my freshman year. And I'm still in contact with a lot of them. They like took us to like this museum in DC so we could like explore, like get to know the area as well as like use our metro passes. They helped us go and pick it up, like they showed us the whole campus. Like we I think for me it was very valuable because I got to see like what the school was really about because I did not tour my school that I'm at right now. Like I just signed off my name, paid my deposit, and that was it. But I just feel like
What was that decision that you didn't go and like tour the school beforehand? Because some people are able to. They fly with their parents and go tour a school or drive to local schools. Did you tour any of the colleges before you went?
did. I toured some of the schools in California that I did apply to. I knew that well, I went to Sonoma State and with Miss Stefani, she took me down there to go see the school, but she mentioned when we were like touring the school that she just felt like it was a very small school for me. Because I interacted with students like right away. I was like, oh, what events do you guys have? Like, I started asking questions because like Sonoma was an option for me. And after like touring the school, I just felt like I needed something different. It is a beautiful school, but it was just not the right fit for me. But for like in my program, I feel like it is. I would recommend any like upcoming seniors, any juniors, I would recommend them to go and tour the school because even though like you can see it online, you can do the virtual tours, like being in person and like asking all these questions and like really being on campus can tell you a lot, like if it is a good fit for you or if it's not, or like what other options you have.
Yeah. Hey, and then when you were picking your roommate, like, okay, way back in my day in the 90s, you would fill out an application, I think on paper, and then you like scan it or fax it or whatever, turn it. Who cares? But you would put in information about yourself, right? Like non-smoker, like am I a messy roommate or am I a clean roommate, which could be subjective. Can we really see ourselves and understand that? Maybe like what we're studying, and then the school would pair you with someone, but you didn't really know who they were until you met face to face. Like you didn't get their phone number ahead of time or anything like that, really. I mean, you did get paired, but do you get to decide who your roommate is? I've heard in college now there's a lot of like choosing, and with social media you can really like learn about the other person before you become
You
roommates.
do. Some people know a lot of people going into college. I know in at especially at the university that I'm at, like a lot of people are from like Virginia, Maryland, New York, so like they know each other. So they room with their friends. In my case, I didn't know anyone and they did send out Actually, they followed me. The account that like has all the students, like you post like these are my interests, this is what I do, like here's my Instagram, here's my Snapchat, like whatever social media you have. And then people start DMing you. My roommate, Perla, actually DMs me. And so I started talking to her about like school. And so then when we were doing housing, because it does give you like the option of like, do you sleep early? Like, do you smoke? Do you party? Do you like all of these? Just so you can see how compatible you are with like your roommate and like other roommates you may have.
Yeah.
I felt it out with Perla. I was on my computer, I was on the phone with her, and she's from Long Island. So she was like 3 hour difference. And we were both like, okay, like, how do we fill this out? Like, how do we do this? So I am very thankful for her, and I'm very thankful to have her as my roommate and as a best friend and someone I can count on. But that's how we do it. And I know that's how, like, a lot of universities do it nowadays is you post about yourself, you you say what you like, what you don't like, and then people start DMing you.
Mm.
But then like your second year, your third year, your fourth year, like it's up to you who you room with. It's up to you also like what building you choose because we had I think my freshman year 19 or 20 options to like decide where we wanted to live. I
Yeah.
left that up to my roommate because my roommate did tour the school. So I trusted her a lot on that. And I did not know it was on the second campus. That is on me because I did not look into that. But I'm very thankful I lived on upper campus my freshman year just because I feel like I separated my school life and my private life. But it is a commute, I will say. This
How far?
last it's like a on a good day it's like a 15 minute. On traffic it's like a 35 to a 45 minute um like drive. But we do
Okay.
have like the school does provide like shuttles from to and from. But now
Cool.
last year we lived on lower campus. We lived like in the center of everything.
Okay, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you. This year you're gonna live where?
It's called Shankman Hall. It's in front of like the gym that everyone uses and it's like in front of like all my classes too. So it's like not that far either. And yeah.
Okay, so you have experienced a lot in your first year. Like you had to use Uber, you had to figure out flight patterns to get out there. You chose a roommate, put trust in them. You were looking at like, where is my dorm? How do I use a Metro Pass? Like all of this is a lot going on, and you're just, I'm assuming, talking very kindly to yourself and rolling with these punches. You also experienced some issues with your financial aid, but it ended up working out. But that was like a big strain at first because here you are, a freshman, learning all these other skills, and then you are nervous about finances, which a lot of us didn't have to experience, right? Even if we are doing a loan, I did a school loan, but I knew it was stable. So that was kind of a scary moment for you as well. But it ended up working out. You had to advocate for yourself a lot. I remember phone calls with you and making sure, like hoping that everything worked out for you. So I think that like in so many ways you were striving and already doing a lot of work that adults have to do, right? Like learning all of these different skills. That's not even like your academics. We haven't even gotten to the academic part yet. How did you feel about academics? Were you prepared coming out of high school, and what was the difference in college courses versus high school courses if you were to give any advice to
I feel like I
students?
was prepared going into like my college freshman year. Like I know what is expected of me as a student. Like I know deadlines. I know you have to do like certain things to get the grade that you deserve. My freshman year, they recommended from founding scholars, they recommended having a success coach. And my school is very known for that. It is like a mentor. You meet with them once a week, maybe twice, depending on like what your needs are.
Okay.
My first success coach was Lauren. I'm very thankful to have her in my life too. She is no longer a success coach. She did tell me, look, we're gonna map out like all your deadlines. We're gonna do this, and I would just check in with her like once a week. Then we just switch to once every 2 weeks because she did know like I was like doing good. I was very stressed about, I guess, my finances, but that like fixed itself and I didn't worry about that. My academics, on the other hand, I feel like I did pretty well my freshman year. It was not perfect because of like other situations behind closed doors with like my old roommate, and it was just a really bad situation.
But that's also, I think, Karen, something that a lot of people experience, right? Like you're going to school, you're learning how to live with someone, or not working out, or it is working out. It doesn't mean the other person is bad or good. It's just sometimes there's conflict, right? Or sometimes we're just not a good mesh. But you're also living with them, so then that creates a little bit of tension. Yeah, that's a lot. With your success coach, is this someone that you sought out, or are they like in the tutoring sessions? Are they a former or
They
current student themselves?
So the Success Coach is a separate program that GW offers. It is like a
Mm,
it is like a tutoring, not really. It's more like about accountability, I feel like. Well, in my opinion, it was for me it was more about accountability. And through founding scholars, they like told everyone, hey, like I would recommend you to have a success coach. I based on like my schedule, she was the only one that was available during the hours that I for my availability.
mm-hmm.
She she was God, I think she's in her master's degree right now. I could be wrong.
Okay.
She is a student too. She is much much older than I am. But sh I think I stayed with her a year and a half, and then she told me sadly that she was not going to be a part of the program anymore because she got an incredible opportunity for an internship, which I was very happy for her because we all really are there, or GW really enforces having like an internship, which I was very happy for her. And then she was like, hey, like, I don't want you to leave this program because I feel like it is helping you be accountable for your actions and like turning in your homework. So I started with
Cool.
someone new, which I was not very excited about because they made me like talk about, hey, why are you here? Like, why are you? And it just felt a little weird because I was like, you're not Lauren. Like, Lauren gets me. I don't have to tell her all these things.
Yeah.
His name was Christian. He was a very lovely person, but I just felt like I was ready to be checked out of Success Coach. Like I felt like I started getting the hang of everything and I was just there for my accountability. And then it
Yeah.
sort of ended up like a therapy session at times and I was like, I can't be doing therapy right now. Like I'm here to get my like be accountable of my actions, no therapy session. But he was very lovely. I'm very thankful for him, but I think I was ready to like do everything on my own for a semester. So
That's really cool. You kind of had like a life coach or like accountability coach. I did not have that freshman year. I think that's incredible. Freshman year, I also noticed like I had already partied a bit in high school, and so by the time I was a freshman in college, I wasn't really rocked by that. I, enjoyed whatever, but I noticed that there were some students who had not experienced anything in high school, were more like by the book, and then by the time they got to college, they really partied and kind of freaked out, and then they ended up like dropping out, getting kicked out. How did it go with balancing like social life and academics for you or for your school? Like my freshman year, half of my dorm by January was kicked out. Like half the people were gone, failed out because they were partying the whole time. So I think that accountability or success coach is really helpful to be like, hey, you're going skiing. I went to school in a ski town. You're going skiing. You have classes. You don't have to go to every single class, but like, you're a freshman. You should learn. Like, don't just go off and do whatever.
I think at my school we are not known for a party school. We are definitely not a party school. We are also there are frats and sororities, but we're not really big on that. I feel like,
Okay.
especially at my school, it's more about academics, getting an internship, getting a job. Like, this is what we're here for. But there are
Yeah.
a lot of people. I had a lot of friends my freshman year that partied really, really hard, and then they did regret it second semester because their grades were not good.
Hmm.
They didn't fail out because I know they're still at the university, but they did struggle coming back and like doing like separating their social life, their schoolwork, and like everything. For me personally, I feel like I did go out, I did have fun, but I limited myself. I do have 8 a.m.s. I tend to have morning classes and I have night classes. So it like really depended on my schedule, like if I went out. I know what me and my roommates did and like my friends did was we would go to brunch. We'd try new restaurants. We'd go and explore the city. But that was when we
Cool.
all had time, when we all had free time. It wasn't like I got a paper due and I'm gonna go out. No. It was like we
Yeah.
all sat down, we all got our stuff done. And the accountability part too, I feel like with my roommates when I lived on upper campus, like we'd all sit in the living room and like do our
That's
so
really
we
cool that
do
you
that.
all had that same
Yeah.
mindset.
I
That's
feel like
nice.
that's why we really connected a lot. It was because we valued a lot our education, but we also like I guess trauma experience with our other roommate and it was like we were also like we also hung out a lot. We went out a lot as like roommates. So I feel like that bond like brought us.
That's great. So, out of the first 2 years of school that you have accomplished, what are some classes that you enjoyed, and why did you like them? What are you studying? We don't know that yet.
Okay, so am I have two majors. I have a criminal justice major. I'm double majoring in Spanish culture, literature, and I can't remember like the last part of it. I am almost done with my Spanish degree. I'm hoping I will be done this upcoming December, and then just focusing on my criminal justice degree after that. The classes, well, there's been a few classes that I do question why we have to take them. But the
Yeah.
classes that I have enjoyed are my forensics class, my criminal justice
Ooh.
class this semester. Um, and then I learned a lot from my Queer in Latin America Gender Studies class this semester, which was taught in Spanish.
Ooh,
Overall,
that would be very interesting.
I've really enjoyed oh, and my photography class, I would say, are like my top four classes. But overall, I've enjoyed all of my classes. You get to choose your schedule, which I really, really like. Especially with my
Mm-hmm.
Spanish major, like they're very lenient on what I can take and can't take. So I'm like I said, I'm almost done with that degree. My criminal justice degree is also very lenient with the electives that I take. But my other like core classes, like they're very strict on what I can take.
Yeah. Have you already built your schedule for your junior year, like the fall, or
Yes,
does it go by trimesters, or what's your school year
I
like?
am on a semester schedule, and we normally do like class registrations like before we get out of school for like summer or winter break.
Sure. Okay.
Because I was a part of the managers for the girls team, for the basketball team, I got early registration for the spring semester and for the fall semester,
That's cool.
which as a sophomore, because I technically don't really have enough credits, I can't take like my upper level division classes. But thanks to that, like I was able to register for a lot of like my upper level division classes. But
That's great.
we do get the advantage of like taking all the classes, and I did have to email a couple professors and be like, please let me in your class. I am begging you. But they've all said yes. None of them have said no.
Do you have a couple that you're excited about, or what are you taking?
I am taking a lot of my criminal justice degree classes next semester. I know I'm taking, I believe, like 3 or 4 Spanish classes so I can be done in December.
Hmm.
I think I just look forward to each semester and I don't jinx myself. I will let the first week of classes be as it is. I get the syllabus, make sure that I can meet all of the deadlines. And if not, like I'll switch my schedule. I normally end up switching my schedule maybe like twice or three times just because time conflict, like there are a lot of demands with certain classes and I don't know, but
Mm-hmm.
so far I'm excited to go back, see my
You,
roommates.
yeah, yeah. You've kept your major, which a lot of times, like, I don't even think we should ask freshmen, like, what's your major? Because they might not know, right? And they're going and experiencing. But you have kept this criminal justice pathway, which is one major reason you wanted to go out to DC. What is it about criminal justice that's holding your heart? Like, and what do you want to do with this? Like, maybe that's a heavy question because I don't know if you've done internships yet, but it has like continued to be something on your mind and you're exploring it more and it seems to still be holding your attention, which is awesome.
I think personally, I feel like there's some students that know freshman year, hey, like I'm gonna study this and like that's the degree that I'm working with. I
Yeah.
went in being like, okay, I'm gonna do criminal justice and like this is the degree that I want. But then I started second guessing myself my spring freshman year. And I started looking at different like majors. I was like, what if I do this? What if I do that? Like what? And then I sat down and I was stressing myself out because I tend to do that. And I was like, okay, what do you want? What do you want? Like, why are you here? Like, why did you come to DC? So I sat down, I walked around like one of the parks, and then I just like heard the birds chipper. I don't know, but I came back to my senses and I did stick around with criminal justice. I talked to like my academic advisor and I was like, "Hey, like I want to declare my major." And she was like, you're not going to have enough credits to graduate. So, like, you need a second major or you need a minor. For me, none of them really were that interesting or they had a lot of requirements. And I was like, I do want to graduate in 4 years. I do not want to be here any longer than I have to. So, I started with the Spanish minor, but then my academic advisor and both of my professors were like, just do the second degree because you only need, I think, 2 or 3 more classes after that and they were like, I think you should just get both degrees. So that's how I ended up with 2 degrees.
Man, that's exciting. All right, Karen. Well, that's really exciting to hear about criminal justice and also your Latina studies as well. What are some dream jobs that you would want to have with those two majors in mind?
So with my Spanish degree, I already have my sealed biliteracy, so I am bilingual already. But I feel like with my Spanish degree, I've learned a lot, not just about like speaking or writing, but I've learned a lot about like the like other parts of Latin America that I didn't know, and I feel like thanks to like all of my professors and the way that they've structured it, I'm learning up more about Latin America, which I wasn't really aware of, or like I had some sense of it, but like there's a lot of like issues that aren't really talked about, and I feel like my professors do an excellent job of talking about the issues and like what the solutions are and as us as students like what we think or what the possibilities of these solutions are.
Mm-hmm.
For my criminal justice degree, I want to go to law school after I'm done with GW. My friends always ask, are you going to go to law school at DC? Like, what are your plans?
Yeah.
I don't know. I know as of right now, I do want to go to law school. I want to do family law or immigration law.
Mm.
I don't know what school I would want to go to yet. I know I will apply, take my LSATs when the time comes, but whatever program decides to take me, then I'll go there. But I don't have like a first option or second option. Like I haven't thought that ahead.
Yeah.
I feel like I go year by year and seeing how things are and like where I stand. But yeah, that is my dream. I do want to be a lawyer. I do want to help and come back. I don't know if to Tahoe or to California, but I do want to come back and help my community out. That is something that has always been on the back of my head.
Yeah, that is really exciting. I think with your class, I did a criminal justice unit. I can't remember if I did or not. And I brought in like a district attorney and defense lawyer. Did I do that with you guys? Okay. And so,
No,
like,
you didn't. No, you didn't, but you did invite me and Betty when the district attorney was there, and we like popped in, and I did interview her for one of my classes.
good.
So
Okay.
I am very thankful for you bringing in a lot of people because I did connect with her and I did talk to her and she was like, if you need a job or if you need an internship, let me know.
Good. Okay. And
I'm
then
very thankful
were
for
you
that.
there when I had the defense lawyer come in, Allison Vermont?
No, I was
Okay.
not there.
Okay. So she's also, I think she's still in Tahoe, or maybe she moved a little bit north. But Allison is a defense attorney, and then Anna Tyner is the district attorney. So those are
Yeah.
two that you could always reach out to in Tahoe. I also used to work for lawyers at Holland and Hart, Hart. So you could always reach out to them as well. I think it's really beautiful how you're like, I'm taking one step at a time and I'm not like overcommitting or drawing out a path that has to be stuck, right? You're looking every year and adjusting and reflecting with yourself. I think going for the walk in the park, hearing the birds chirp, it's really smart. You're out in nature, grounding into yourself and really like having a conversation with yourself about what do you want. And like we are getting advice from others, but then remembering to come back to yourself and say, okay, like what is my path? What am I here for? What am I doing? Because you're also creating that for yourself too. That's really cool. I feel like you could do so much with having the Latina background and immigration and family. Like, who says you have to choose one? Can you give us one example of something in Latina culture that you're learning about that you didn't know, and also some solutions or ideas that maybe your professors are having or maybe that you're having as well? Or do you take any of this information and talk to your own family about it, or your community back home, or your roommate?
I think for my Spanish degree, I feel like this last semester we learned about queer and Latin American studies, which I thought was very cool. I did not know anything about the LGBTQ plus community, and I feel like I knew the definition, but I didn't know anything else.
Okay.
And my professor, he was very like, you're gonna present, you're gonna do this, like, you're gonna learn a lot. Because he did mention to me, he was like, you're not speaking, like, you're not voicing your opinion. And I was like, I don't know what I can or can't say. And I told him, I was like, what if I say the wrong thing? Like, oh, 'cause I was the only, I think me and Sophie were the only sophomores in that class, and the rest were like juniors and seniors. And I was like, what if I say the wrong thing? They take it the wrong way. Like, I don't know what I'm doing here. But I learned a lot from that. I learned that till this day, a lot of communities and countries don't accept the LGBTQ plus community. I feel like, especially in Latin America, still to this day, we're open about it, but not really open about it. It's like if you are, that is behind closed doors. Like there are a lot of things that are still happening that are not accepted in the community or in society. And my professor, he was like, you guys are young. You guys are all Latin students. And he was like, you guys have to voice your opinions, what matters, what you want, what changes you need. And I feel like him telling me that as a student, I feel like I am voicing more my opinion on things. But I do look at information before I speak out on a subject because there are a lot of misinformation and there are a lot of people who have opinions about certain things.
Yeah.
So that would be my example.
And I think like I totally get what you're saying. Like, hey, I'm in this class. I'm not sure what I'm going to say. I don't want to offend anyone. And also, like, I'm forming an opinion, but it also opinions don't have to just lock in, right? That we can grow and change and learn, and that maybe I'm voicing a question so I can learn more. And having that like gentle ear of like wanting to listen and wanting to learn, which you always have. That's really cool. Did you end up taking any of this information like back to talk to your family or your roommates, or has it made you look internally of like, why don't we talk about things, or why is this kind of still behind other
I
cultures?
I did. I brought it up to my roommates. Like I always go because my I lived like in my own room and then my roommates shared a room, so I had my own space. But as I mentioned before, like we use the living room a lot in like our dorm.
Cool.
So every time Like we'd on Saturday or Sunday that would do something. I'd be like, "Oh my God, this happened in class. Like you guys don't get it." Like, and I'd like speak about it, and they see how interested I am in the topics. But yes, we have voiced a lot of like our opinions. Like we go back and forth. Like me and my roommate Meg and Perla will talk about it, and we're like, "Did you hear about this? Did you know about this? Did you hear about this?" So it's like we are very informed of like what things are happening, and I feel like it's very important, especially in my generation and generations to come. I feel like I don't if it's just in the United States, but I feel like we don't really talk about like a lot of our like talk about other people's history. And
Hmm.
I feel like when I went down to Mexico, like my cousins were telling me, "Oh my God, this war happened in the United States. You guys did this. Like this happened, this." And I feel like there are other countries more involved in like knowing more about each other than I feel like the United States.
Yeah, I would agree with you. I feel like other countries have more like world news, and I think that in America we get American media, and if there is a bit of world media, it's when we are involved with them, like a war or something like that. But I think that in America, if you want to be worldly, if you want to learn, that you have to really put in the effort more so to do that versus other countries. I feel like their newspapers, their media, and their curiosity is higher, but it can be done. Like you're doing it for sure. Yeah. Do you have any advice for anyone who is going off to school, like someone who is exploring different colleges? Maybe they're going to move far away like you did as well, or go to school like in their own state, or maybe they're debating whether they should go. What advice would you give?
I think my first advice would be tour the school. That is a main one
Mm-hmm.
because you don't know if you'll really enjoy being at the school unless you go and see it. My second advice would be don't feel pressured into following what other students are doing because we have our own time. We'll graduate at our own time. We don't have to speed anything up.
Mm.
You don't have to get an internship as a freshman. You are a freshman. There will be a lot of internships coming. My third one is you don't have to be best friends with your roommate. Sometimes it doesn't work out, sometimes it does. Do not feel pressured to be best friends with your roommate. If it doesn't work out, please move out. Please talk to someone about that. Find something at the university that you enjoy because I feel like a lot of people go into college expecting a lot of things, but they don't like look for like orgs or like clubs. I feel like that is something also very important
Mm.
for us as students. Like, what do you like? What are your interests? Like, make sure that like the school that you're going to fits with what you want and not what you're expecting because a lot of universities don't have certain things. I didn't know my school didn't have a football team until I got to DC and they were like, "Yeah, we don't have a football team." And I was like, "What do you mean you don't have a football team?" But I understand because we are in the city, like where are we going to have a football field?
Oh,
We are very big on our basketball team and like other sports teams, which I'm very thankful for because I'll go and like see like the boys play soccer, the girls play soccer, lacrosse or baseball, softball, basketball. So
so you
I
seem
feel like
very
that would
involved. Like you're putting yourself out there. You're choosing to sit in the living room and discuss with your roommates. Tell us about like the club basketball, or what were you talking about? You're a manager of basketball. How did that come about?
yeah.
Because you were saying clubs are important and finding your own way is important.
I feel like finding your people, finding an activity will make a big difference for you because I know a lot of people at my university don't really have that and really talk to me about that. And I'm like, well, don't go and commit to the club or like, the org. Just go to one of their meetings, see what they're about, and like then you decide like whether you like it or not. In my case, I'm a part of the first gen program. They do have like another program. They do events, which I do attend. They do First Friday dinners, which is like they cater a lot of food for anyone that wants to come. My old job, they would talk about like the different orgs. They'd be like, oh, let's go hang out here. Let's go do this. So I feel like I got involved a lot through a lot of my friends, which are all upperclassmen. And for me, they had posted about them needing like a student manager, but I applied for the men's basketball team originally my freshman year in the spring, but they wanted me to stay during the summer. But I was going to come home, so that just didn't work out for me. And then my roommate Meg was like, "Why don't you apply for like soccer, basketball, or softball? You played those sports, like you're knowledgeable enough to like work with them."
Yeah.
And then a position opened for the girls' basketball team. I emailed them, I sent them my resume. I met with Carolina, who was the BOG for the basketball team during that time. She was like, "I am very happy, like, you're a Latina, like, we're gonna do this." Like, and she was also a Latina, so I felt very confident about working with the girls' basketball team. At first I was very like, don't talk to me, don't, I'm just here, I don't want to get involved. But then I started talking to all the girls. They're very, very lovely girls, very sweet. Coaches were very nice. Everyone was very welcoming. I would go to their games. I'd help them like with anything that they needed. And I'm very thankful to have had that opportunity to be a part of like the basketball team, because I feel like that was something that I needed
That's
to
cool.
go back to like sports. But they were very, very lovely. They are very lovely girls. They still text me or DM me, and I DM them back. But
Great.
they're all very lovely people, I will say.
When they would travel for sport, would you go with them, like to different colleges
Yes.
or whatnot? That is so
Yeah.
cool. I love that, like, you played basketball, but you still found a way to be involved. So even if you weren't playing the sport, you're still like with them and you form this coalition. That's so smart, Karen. That's cool.
I know one of the managers, her name's Isabella, and she plays club basketball. She was like, "Oh my God, you should come and play with us." But I was like, "I can't do that. I work as a student." I was like, "I just don't have enough time." I was like, "I would, but I know if I commit to this, like I am gonna back out and it's just gonna stress me out, and I can't do that."
Yeah.
But yeah.
But it sounds like you're really mindful about, like, okay, but I have this other commitment. What is your what do you do for work at school? Is it the same thing every year or do you do different things?
No, the program sadly shut down because of current administration, but I was a teacher for Jumpstart, was the program that I worked with. I also work with AmeriCorps. I was a teacher who I taught 4, 5, and 6 year olds. I taught them how to read, write, and like interact with each other and do arts and crafts. When I found out that I owed $40,000, I started looking for a job. So somehow I ended up working with children. My boss, bro, she was like, "Do you have experience with working with children?" I was like, "I have siblings. Does that count?"
Yes.
But she is a very, very lovely boss. I am gonna miss her. I'm gonna miss Mora too, who was my supervisor too. They were a part of like my support system too. All the girls that I worked with were also my support system. It was very good because I feel like in a way I was fixing or fulfilling like my inner child again. I don't know if I was healing it, but I just felt
Mm.
like being with the kids did something. It also brought me like peace in mind of like, this is like the next generation. These are the doctors, lawyers, like they are the future. But it brought me a lot of peace, and I felt like even though I was stressed about school and like doing everything, like I still showed up every day for my kids. Like I put apart my personal life for my kids, and they are all very lovely kids that unfortunately I won't have the opportunity to work with this upcoming fall. But I am looking for internships. I'm applying. We'll see what happens. But
That's really
yeah.
cool. I also notice how you recognize in things like everything that has helped push you in your pathway. Like you have a strong amount of gratitude. That's going to get you very far in life, Karen. One more question I had for you is, like, you said that you're going to school near, like, in DC near the White House. Like, what is that experience like? How close is your school and how is that to be in DC? DC is a cool city.
DC is a cool city. Some of my friends would not consider it a city because of how small it is. Because it also doesn't have skyscrapers. I don't know. I've never lived in the city, so I was like, I don't know if this is a city or not. My freshman year, I went to the White House like the first week of orientation. I took a picture and I sent it to my mom, and my mom was like, "What are you doing in the White House?" Like, she was very scared. And I was like, "Girl, we are outside of the White House. Like, I'm not inside." My roommates and I
Not
both
yet, Karen.
wanted
You're
to
not
go.
inside yet. But as a lawyer in the future, you will be inside that White House. I bet.
My roommates, we are able to go into the White House and get a tour. My roommates and I were gonna do it, but we don't know if we're gonna do it anytime soon. But I've gone to Congress, I've gone to the House of Representatives, so I've been inside like governmental buildings, which I never thought I would put myself out there and go and listen to like men and women Congress speak about like all these things, which I thought was really cool.
That's really cool.
And I've gone and explored. I've gone to see, I think I've seen all of the monuments. The next thing on my list is going to go look at all of the museums. That is like the next thing on my list. But I mean, it is a pretty cool thing my freshman year because I was like, oh my God, I'll enjoy it. And I was exploring every other day. Right now with like my sophomore year, I did at the beginning of the semester, I went, I believe, to two museums that I hadn't been before, but it's just like I have a lot of things going on. So the most I'll do, I'll walk down to the monuments, and just when I'm feeling down or I need to run or I don't want to go to the gym, like I'll just go and walk down there and just enjoy. And like there's a lot of tourists that go there and like take pictures. I know I've gotten asked a couple times, "Can you take my picture? Like I've never been here." And I'm like,
Yeah.
"Yes, I will take the picture." But I like it, and I know that my university is the only university that does like our ceremony at the Washington Monument. So I'm very excited for that when I get to graduate, like just being there and like graduating at the Washington Monument.
Oh my gosh, that sounds really cool. Yeah, I found DC to be, I mean, we're both like from nature, right? Like both of us were born and raised in mountain towns. I was in Colorado. And I think like, yeah, when you switch and you go to a city, you're driving on the metro, you're able to see all these monuments. I was really surprised by DC. I went with my sister. She was working, and so I went with her on her work trip. It wasn't like top of my list to go there, but I'm so glad that I went because I was swept away by all of the monuments and seeing the amount of people that are not American who were at the monuments. And I'd see some Americans being like, yep, cool, Lincoln on a chair, and like going off to the next one. But I'd also observe like how many people from around the world, people from France, people from Japan, people from India, and they were sitting there for 20 minutes, 30 minutes, really devouring all of the history. And it really made me look at being American in a new way and having like more respect for it by seeing how many other people around the world are respecting our judicial process. I don't know. It was neat going and seeing the White House, being so close to the White House. I was shocked that we could get, I don't know how it is now, but basically we could look right at the backyard. There were a couple bodyguards and
Yeah,
there were the pillars.
the fences are still up, but you're able to see it.
Yeah,
Well, my freshman year, I haven't really gone to the White House ever since like my freshman year.
sure.
Just because it is like I live up here, the White House is like down here, so it is a walk. I think
Yeah.
the closest thing is like the Lincoln Monument and like the Washington Monument and the reflection pool are like the closest ones to like where I live.
Yeah. How was it for you when you went and saw Congress? Did that light any fire in you as far as like thinking about being a lawyer or your criminal justice classes? Like, how did that resonate with you?
I Well, that was on like my two because I've gone to the Library of Congress. I went with my roommate Meg because Perla was home. So me and Meg went to the Library of Congress. I also have my library card for the Library of Congress. I fell in love with the Library of Congress. And then Meg was like, "Oh my God, the House of Representatives is there. The Congress is there." She did not accompany me to go, so I did the tour by myself. I I think it's very interesting that it's so close and that I was able to get my like passes really quickly. I went to go talk to an office and they were like, "You have to go to this office, but you can take this secret passage to get through there." And I was like, "No, just tell me what street is and I'm gonna get lost in this building." And
Wow.
you don't need a civilian in a governmental building getting lost.
That's hilarious.
So
I would
I
go
ended up
off.
getting, I get it. I got both of my passes. I went to the House of Representatives first. They were voting on a couple bills. And then I went to the House. I went to Congress. They were bickering and arguing about like certain subject. You can't record in there. You can't bring cameras. You can't bring nothing. So I was like, why can't we? But reporters can and can do sketches. But I was like,
That's interesting.
okay, like so when I did the tour, I was able to um take pictures, but if you go like up to Congress or the House of Representatives, you can't. No pictures, no nothing. Like you have to give up your phone to like a security person and they'll give it back to you, but you can't record it.
Interesting. Also to the fact that like they take your phone, right? Like I was just in the Sistine Chapel last weekend and you're not allowed to take pictures in there, but you could definitely see people taking out their cameras and taking a quick shot, and like it's kind of sad that we can't really trust that people like abide, right? Cuz sometimes it like the flash can wear out the artwork, right? So, but also
Yeah.
like trying to make people present when they're actually looking at the Sistine Chapel. So interesting that government officials are like, nope, we're just going to take that phone from you. Yeah.
Well, I asked because I like when I finished the tour, our tour guide was like, "Oh, like you can go. Like they're both in session right now." And I was like, "How do I do that?" So he told me, "Go to this building." I went to that building, then had to go to a different building. Got my passes, got back in line. The people there were like, "If you have a phone, if you have a camera, if you have this, like no electronics. This is a governmental building, and we are working." And so we gave up everything, and then I just went in there, like watched for a little bit. It was really interesting seeing like all congresswomen and congressmen like talking and debating um a couple laws. I think that was really interesting. The other one wasn't really that interesting. I think they were just bickering and arguing, and people were leaving, and that one wasn't that interesting to me. But I mean, I got the sense that, like, yes, they are talking about important things. I do want to make a difference. I don't really think that is like a reason why I want to be a lawyer,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is an interesting to be able to go there and see.
Yeah. Some of the lawyers I worked with at Holland and Hart ended up then running for like Congress and Senate and moving their way up. So it's sometimes it's people's pathways, but oh, that's very interesting. Karen, I feel like we've learned so much about your experience. A lot of having to do with listening to yourself. I find too that sometimes I question a decision I've made, but learning how to like check in with yourself and believe in yourself and keep going. One aspect of Breakthrough is where in this podcast I interview different people who are living their dreams in order to inspire others. And I feel like you've been able to do that today, to inspire people who want to go to college, go back to college, people who want to take a risk and move somewhere, people who are looking at like new. There's so much to learn from this episode. So audience, if you have learned something as well, I'd love for you to like, subscribe, but share this with someone who is going through a change in their life, or someone who is about to go off to college. There's so many different aspects. One who is Latina. Karen, any final thoughts from you? Thanks for showing up on this interview. I really appreciate it.
Thanks for having me. I think for the audience, don't be afraid to take a risk. That is my one thing.
Yeah, I think that's great. Like, I remember when you were thinking about going off to college, and we had talked about what's the worst thing that could happen. You go, you don't like it, you can come back, right? So there's no real, I mean, there's risk, but like you're not going to be hurt, right? You're not physically hurt. It's not over. So yeah, take the risk. I love that, Karen. Thank you so much. All right, audience, thank you so much for your time, and we will see you next time. Bye.